Picture this. It's 3 a.m., and fear has crawled into bed beside you. Your mind races with tomorrow's uncertainties, last week's failures, and next month's impossible deadlines. The darkness feels heavy, pressing down on your chest like a weight you can't lift. But here's the beautiful truth that can transform everything. Even in that suffocating moment, you are not alone. Psalm 27 doesn't whisper timid suggestions about maybe feeling better someday. It thunders with divine certainty. The Lord is my light and my salvation. Whom shall I fear? This isn't David trying to convince himself everything will be okay. This is a warrior poet who has walked through hell and emerged with an unshakable truth. God is bigger than anything that keeps you awake at night. When the world feels like it's spinning out of control, when relationships crumble, when medical reports bring unwelcome news, when financial pressures threaten to drown you, this is precisely when God's light shines brightest. He doesn't wait for your circumstances to improve before showing up. He steps into the chaos, into the mess, into the midnight hours when hope feels like a cruel joke, and he whispers, "I am here. I am your refuge. I am enough." Think about that word stronghold. In ancient times, a stronghold wasn't just a building. It was an impenetrable fortress carved into solid rock, a place where entire communities could find safety when enemies surrounded them. When David calls God his stronghold, he's not talking about a nice feeling or positive thinking. He's declaring that the creator of the universe is your personal fortress, your unbreachable sanctuary that no weapon can penetrate. But here's where it gets even more beautiful. David doesn't just want protection, he wants presence. "One thing I ask," he says, "that I may dwell in the house of the Lord all the days of my life." In our achievement-obsessed culture, we often pray for success, for breakthrough, for circumstances to change. David prays for something deeper, intimacy with God. He understands that when you're close to the Father's heart, everything else falls into perspective. Imagine starting each day not with a desperate plea for God to fix everything, but with a simple invitation. "Lord, let me sit with you. Let me breathe in your peace. Let me remember who you are before I face who I'm not." This isn't escapism. It's the most practical thing you can do. When your soul is anchored in God's presence, the storms of life lose their power to define you. The psalm takes an even more radical turn when David declares, "Though an army besiege me, my heart will not fear." He's not saying armies won't come, they will. Criticism will rain down, disappointment will knock at your door, health scares will attempt to steal your peace. But when you know, really know, that God is fighting for you, those battles become opportunities to watch Him work. Here's what many of us miss. God doesn't just protect us from trouble, He transforms us through it. When you're in the middle of a storm and you choose to trust instead of panic, you're not just surviving, you're becoming the person God designed you to be. Every act of faith in the darkness is a declaration that God's promises are more real than your problems. And then comes the verse that might be the most comforting words ever written. "Though my father and mother forsake me, the Lord will receive me." Even if everyone else walks away, even if you feel completely alone, even if your deepest fears of abandonment come true, God will receive you. Not reluctantly, not with conditions, but with the overwhelming love of a Father who has been waiting for you to come home. This is where prayer becomes more than a religious exercise, it becomes your lifeline. When you pray, you're not just asking for things, you're connecting with the source of all comfort, all wisdom, all hope. You're reminding your anxious heart that you have a Father who not only hears your whispered prayers, but actively works to answer them in ways that exceed your wildest dreams. The psalm concludes with what might be the most faithful statement in all of Scripture. "I remain confident of this. I will see the goodness of the Lord in the land of the living." Not in heaven someday, but here, now, in this messy, beautiful, complicated life. David is saying, I don't know how, I don't know when, but I am absolutely certain that God's goodness will break through. That's the kind of confidence that changes everything. When you wake up tomorrow morning and fear tries to set the agenda for your day, remember this: you serve a God who calls you by name, who fights your battles, who turns your mourning into dancing, and who has already secured your victory. You don't have to be strong enough, wise enough, or brave enough on your own. You just have to be willing to trust the one who is all of those things for you. So, before you face whatever challenge awaits you today, pause, breathe deeply. Remember that the same God who split the Red Sea, who raised the dead, who conquered the grave, is the same God who whispers your name in the darkness and promises to never leave you. That's not wishful thinking. That's the foundation of faith that has sustained believers for thousands of years. Take heart, be strong, wait for the Lord. Your breakthrough is coming, and it's going to be more beautiful than you ever imagined.